No. Hello everybody, my name is Dylan, aka Spaz33, and welcome back to more Game and Yap. I didn't expect to be making another Game and Yap so soon after the last one. I also didn't expect this loading screen to take so long. I thought I'd just get the intro out during it. I'm here on the Master Chief Collection, because my original video plans for today were also this game, but a different style of video. Man, this sure is loading. Originally, I was going to upload the first part of the Halo, of the Halo co-op campaign playthrough that me and my friend did recently. Neither of us have played the series' campaigns, or I've played Reach and I think maybe ODST's campaign, but those were when I was a wee lad, so I don't remember much. Jesus Christ. I remember Reach, obviously, but the details are sparse, so I'm playing through the campaigns with my friends so that we can both experience it for the first time together. And that was supposed to be the video that would go up today, but I faced a setback, as is not, I guess, uncommon for me, it seems, which is sort of the point I wanted to make in this video, but I'll get to that after I explain the situation a little further. It's important context for the message I have today, the wisdom I shall impart on you this fine day. Ow. So earlier today, with today being Tuesday for me, I faced a setback with Premiere and with editing, and it was a dumb technical problem that I couldn't have really known existed, and that ended up making me lose a couple hours worth of work and then spending a couple of hours just researching like the 10-year-old Reddit posts that might have something to do with what's wrong with your computer and, you know, going down that whole rabbit hole. But eventually I figured out what the problem was, but by the time I had done that, I was really mad. And that frustration did make it difficult to want to turn around and do all of the work that I lost again, and then also, you know, keep doing the work on that video. Don't get me wrong, I love editing, but like, there are parts of it that are certainly less glamorous. I feel like the sort of toxic hustle culture that exists throughout everything on the internet, and okay then, and especially in like corporate American culture, this idea that hustling and just grinding and working hard no matter what will get you what you want, or like lead you to success, and that like even if you don't want to do something, or even if you face a problem, it's just about putting your head down and working hard, and that's it. That's all that really matters in this situation. And because of that culture, and that mindset that is, you know, sort of infected everybody, I fear, even though it sucks, butt cheeks. That mindset almost led me to just kind of saying fuck it and trying to grind out all that work anyways, you know, just sitting down, and even though I was in a miserable mood and I really didn't want to do this shit and I just wanted to take a break and, you know, sort of reevaluate, I was like, maybe I shouldn't, maybe I should just do the hard work, maybe I should just do the grind and sit down and get it over with, but I didn't. I really just wanted to get back that time I lost, and that's a losing game from the start. You can't get back time that you've lost. I'm sorry guys, time only moves in one direction, unfortunately. And so going in with that mindset definitely wouldn't have led to a very fun editing process, and probably not as good of a video by extension. And don't get me wrong, I'm no stranger to like the grind and having to just, you know, put your head down and do shit you don't want to do for the sake of getting it done. I graduated college with a near 4.0 GPA, which, like, beyond just taking, you know, intelligence, also takes a lot of very difficult work. Holy shit. Also takes a lot of work. I can't even count the amount of nights I spent just up until like the early hours of the morning just studying or trying to grind out an assignment on time. It's something I'm very much capable of. It's not a matter if I could have finished the video by today. I probably could have if I had just spent the last fucking 6 hours and then also the next like 12 just doing nothing but editing this video. I definitely could have gotten it out. Would it have been any good, and would I have enjoyed myself? No and no, but I could have done it. And I feel like, again, going back to this sort of fucking hustle culture, that's sort of the thing that I think people would suggest doing, you know? Just, yeah, fucking whatever, put your head down and get it over with, man. Just grind it out, man. You can do it, man. Fucking cold plunge, cold shower, 6 a.m., 5K run, man. Ay. But rather than just getting mad at it, and, you know, allowing that anger to make me act irrationally and try to finish this shit despite my better knowledge, I adapted. I just took some time, I stepped back away from the project and kind of just actually took the time to take a deep breath and think. I thought about, you know, A, what video I could get out to by Wednesday if I wanted to pivot in a different direction, and, you know, B, how to make sure I never lost all my work again like that. And I have already, you know, done that. I already took those precautions to, you know, make sure it's not gonna happen again. But that's when, you know, I thought about it and I realized, oh, not only could I make a game in the app to sort of be a quicker video to get out on time, but also, this epiphany I'm having could be the subject of said game in the app. It's perfect. Urethra! I don't know, I thought about a quote from Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order. I don't know if it originates from there, but that's where I heard it. And that is, what stands in the way becomes the way. Anyways, that was the catalyst for this video. Sort of a combination of the necessity of meeting the Wednesday upload deadline that I set for myself, and, the knowledge and sort of wisdom that I found within myself to be able to make this adaptation on the fly and not let the setback ruin me. So that was sort of the catalyst. It was just a setback that I ended up making into something new. And now that I have until, you know, Saturday to finish that video, I can give it the time to cook that it needs to make it as good as it can possibly be. So stay tuned for that shit. I'm a queue for another game, for sure. This video isn't over. No, wait. The wisdom I'd like to impart upon you is that setbacks and mistakes and failures on a path they're not just like normal, they're necessary for success. You have to fail before you can succeed, at least for the most part. You have to fail and you have to waste time so that you can learn how not to fail and how to better utilize your time in the future. If you spend a bunch of time that you would consider wasted, then damn, dude, then the alternate framing you can take would be to look at it as time you spent learning how not to waste that time in the future. You know, you had to use that time now to learn. Some lessons are taught and some lessons are learned, unfortunately. You can't just know everything and know exactly how to do everything perfectly on your first attempt. Trust me, I wish that wasn't the case. I'm not patient, you know, partially due to my mental illness, but also just that's kind of who I am as a person. And it can be rough to pick up a new hobby or skill or whatever and not immediately be perfect at it and have to realize that I have to fucking fail first and kind of suck. And getting frustrated at setbacks is normal. You know, it's fine. It's just that frustration should not be the only thing you feel. You know, it's totally okay to be like, damn, I wasted a bunch of my time, you know, trying to fix an error I didn't even know existed. That sucks, but now that you know how it's done, you can feel the frustration of having wasted that time, but you also should, in your mind, sort of feel you should be seeking out the lesson that you can learn from what happened to prevent it from happening again. And once you do that, then you can frame it more positively in your mind as a learning experience rather than just a setback. All setbacks have the potential to be learned from. If you don't, you know, seek out learning opportunities from your mistakes, then you're kind of just guaranteeing that you're gonna repeat them again. You're sort of, it's a self-fulfilling prophecy. It's a snake eating its own tail. Time is a flat circle. You gotta adapt and reapply yourself with the failures under your belt. That way you can actually, you know, learn how to overcome them next time. It's the only way to make progress. Honestly, I feel like I fell prone to giving up too easily at meeting a setback. And that goes for a lot of different things, not just, you know, content creation or whatever, even, you know, non-creative outlets, everything. I'm very prone to meeting a setback or, you know, not being good immediately and then just giving up. And that was no different. I genuinely considered just making a community post and saying, like, hey guys, I'm not going to get a video out on Wednesday. It's going to have to come out on a different day this week, which, like, isn't the biggest deal, I'm aware. I understand. I understand that to some it may seem like I'm making a mountain out of a molehill. Molehill? Molehill? Applying this great philosophical, you know, understanding to a very mundane event that doesn't really ultimately matter that much. Like, wouldn't have been the end of the world if I missed my upload deadline for Wednesday. I don't really have any contractual obligations to meet or anything. But still, everything is important. How you do something is how you do everything. So how I respond to a mistake with my editing is how I'm gonna respond to everything. And if that response is immediately giving up and, you know, trying again and trying to start over, or just trying to fucking push off the work until later, then uh-oh, you know, that's not a great mindset to approach anything else with, is it? Instead of just giving up like that, though, I tried to, you know, make good out of my mistake. You know, make a positive thing out of my fuck up, out of this setback I was facing, because it is possible to make good out of the bad. Trying to learn from your mistakes, or, you know, be able to take something bad that happened and figure out what good you can make of it. It's definitely a skill worth having and worth practicing. Especially when, you know, it's something like shit just happens sometimes, when it's not a mistake that can be blamed on anybody necessarily. Cause shit does happen, trust me, ooh boy. And I understand that with the current fucking regime in the United States, it can be easy to get overwhelmed, which, you know, the current regime certainly isn't fucking helping, especially cause personal shit also happens. You know, on a systemic level, I really wish shit wasn't happening, and that certain demographics weren't just under threat of not being allowed to exist in this country for no goddamn reason, because then it would make, you know, all of the personal shit a lot easier to deal with when that wasn't looming overhead. Unfortunately, we gotta own those libs, I guess. Take this, liberal. Crashes economy. Sorry, not to go too woke on you. But I'll be honest, if calling out the current regime for being shitty makes you upset or makes you think that I'm woke, then you need to, you know, start questioning your alliances more. I'm sorry, pal. So yeah, that's the gist of what I had to say today. Adapt to your mistakes, try and make good out of the bad situations, you know. I understand that it can be really easy to get angry and to just let that anger overwhelm you and make it so you don't want to adapt, because ultimately it is more difficult to take that negative emotion and try to make it work for you, rather than just letting yourself stew in it. It is more work to take an active approach and try to make something good out of what you've been given, even if what you've been given is shit. You know, when I have ideas for Game Yaps, I sort of just take little bullet point notes for what I want to say as I have those thoughts. That way I don't, you know, let them escape me by the time I get to recording. And at this point, I've gone through all my notes. I don't really have anything more that I thought of before that I want to say, so anything now is going to be completely off the dome. I think I realized earlier just how, you know, quickly I wanted to kind of give up on the upload on Wednesday. If I didn't have this sort of series to fall back on as a quicker video to get out, then, you know, I might not have uploaded today. I might have just had to fucking give up on uploading today instead. But again, that's about adapting, figuring out what you can do instead of worrying about what you can't. And also trying not to force it, you know? I jumped to maybe I should just give up on uploading pretty quickly, and I you know, sort of, I feel like it was almost a self-fulfilling prophecy in a way, like I said earlier, where because I was frustrated about losing all this work, it made me even less likely to want to do more work. Sometimes putting your head down and doing the sort of unpleasant work is necessary. I talked about that in the last Game and Yap, which, you know, will get linked at the end of this video, I'm sure. I think the other team has only 2 people right now, which is a little boring here, I can't lie, I'm a little bored. I was trying to end this video anyways, and then, you know, I got into another game. I figured, fuck it, I'll play it out, and now there's only 2 of these gamers here? Come on. Well, yeah, I'm gonna wrap the video up, seeing as there was only 1 guy on the other team. Thanks guys so much for watching this Game and Yap. I really do appreciate you guys tuning in. Our guy's mad. If you enjoyed, be sure to like and comment and subscribe and all that. It really helps with the algorithm. I'm trying to do this YouTube thing, like, legit. I'm also getting closer to 1,000 subscribers, so if you want to contribute to that, please subscribe if you're not already. Hopefully something I said in this video can help you. I guess on a baseline, hopefully it actually made sense. maybe that's a little more important. And if it did make sense, I hope you could take some of what I said and apply it to your own life. Get more comfortable with adapting your plans. You don't have to follow them through exactly as you laid them out. You can always adapt on the fly. It's not just about putting your head down and doing the hard work sometimes. Sometimes it's about keeping your head up and doing the hard work. Heyo. What a banger to end the video on. I'm gonna go hit this guy in the back of the head with a fucking elbow drop, and it's gonna be crazy. You ready, guys? Thanks for watching.